What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to be diving into PFF's offensive line rankings for the 2025 NFL season. And after watching this show, you Jets fans should be fired up about the big boys on the offensive line. But let's just look at the top 10 list here coming in from PFF. So they had the Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. I think that is undisputed, the best offensive line in the league. Denver Broncos at 2. Buffalo Bills at 3. Chicago Bears getting overrated again every single offseason, coming in at 4. And the Colts, a bit of a shocker at 5 after they lost Ryan Kelly and Will Fries to the Vikings. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 6, and then the Vikes at 7. Atlanta at 8, and then our New York Jets come in at number 9, getting some love this time of the year, which is always good stuff. But then they also had the Chargers coming in at number 10. A bit of a shocker that the Detroit Lions aren't on this list, but I'll tell you what, I'm very excited to see this Jets offensive line play some football next season. If you guys are as well, hit that thumbs up icon. Week 1 with the Pittsburgh Steelers and that nasty defensive front rolling in. I can't wait to see how the Jets offensive line handles it. So if you guys could, hit that thumbs up icon if you're fired up about the Jets offensive line. All right, so we're going to be discussing, is this fair? Having PFF having the Jets ranked as the 9th best offensive line in the NFL. We're going to go through every single offensive lineman here and project how they should be able to perform this upcoming season. But quickly, let's just check on what PFF had to say on this offensive line, saying this. The Jets have a chance to end up much higher on this list as the season goes on if their young offensive tackle duo plays up to its potential. The team is turning the page from veteran tackles Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses to first-rounders Olu Fashanu and Armand Membou, and one of the league's top interior offensive lines will anchor the group. Guards John Simpson and Elijah Vera-Tucker both ranked among the 12 highest-graded guards in football last season. And second-year center Joe Tippmann earned a 73.4 PFF overall grade, which placed him 8th among centers. And, I agree with what PFF said. This will come down to the tackle duo because – if they do stay healthy at the interior of that offensive line, I'm assuming they'll be one of the better units in the National Football League. But the question becomes, Olu Fashanu, Armand Membou, how good will they be in years 2 and the rookie year for Membou in their NFL careers? I think they'll be solid, but again, you truly never know. But I also liked what PFF had to say, just saying the interior is going to anchor this group. You also got some good depth that you added during free agency. So we're going to start off here with the left tackle and just kind of work our way down the offensive line. So Olu Fashanu, should a big year 2 be coming for the former Penn State offensive lineman, 6'6", 312 pounds, just a nasty dude. But last year in limited action, only played 534 snaps. He was solid. Definitely left a lot to be desired, but we also saw flashes. We saw the potential in his game. But overall grade was 61.2. That was 73rd. Pass blocking department, he had a 59.4 grade, which was 84th. And then run block, 61.4, which was 68th in the league. So I think Fashanu, if he could somehow be a top 20 graded offensive lineman, that would be absolutely massive. And plus in year 2, if you would have Fashanu, if you would have him be top 20 and maybe Membou's top 30, and with how good the interior is, again, this offensive line should be solid. But I think John Simpson, probably one of the most underrated players in the National Football League. Definitely one of the most underrated left guards. And I feel like when you ask people, hey, how do you think the Jets' offensive line is? I'm assuming people would just say, oh, it's probably a shaky group. Isn't as good as, us Jets fans do think. But Simpson graded out very well last year. He was 16th overall with a 77.3 overall grade. Pass blocking, he was 72.3, which is 29th, and run blocking, he was 79.2. Now, he stayed fairly healthy this past season, playing over 1,000 snaps, so hopefully that continues. But it also makes the life of Fashanu a lot easier, having that solid, just, no real roller coaster to his game in the left guard in John Simpson, so very high on him. But also the center, Joe Tippmann. I think he's got a chance to be a top 5 center in the league after this season. The 6'6", big center out of Wisconsin. He's got great tenacity. He's also got a badass mullet as well. A center with a mullet is just sweet. But his past season, his calling card was the run block game. Now, overall grade was 73.4. That was a 9th out of all 64 eligible centers. Pass block struggled a little bit, 63.1. But we've also noticed in the NFL, when these centers are coming out, they're always solid in the run blocking game, but they definitely do struggle in the pass sets. So hopefully that would just improve as he, continues to develop. But again, he actually stayed fairly healthy, playing over 1,000 snaps this past season. But a huge question mark and a guy that's got to stay healthy is Alijah Vera-Tucker. Now, I think he's an absolute beast in the trenches. Again, big body. All of these guys are massive. Like, especially when you have your interior guys be as big as they are. I think it just helps tackles just develop, especially when you have young guys like the Jets do. But, again, he graded out pretty damn well. 15th overall in the league. That's awesome stuff. 77.7 grade. Pass block, solid. Run block, solid. Pass block being 74.5. Run block being 76.3. And actually, Bleacher Report dropped an article recently saying, or going over each of the most underpaid players at each position. And at the offensive guard spot, they actually took Vera-Tucker. And this is what they had to say. Because he has proved capable of holding his own just about anywhere in the offensive trenches, Vera-Tucker is one of the biggest values in football. He's only the number 112th highest paid offensive lineman, making a shade under $4 million per year. Vera-Tucker is due for a pay bump, but his salary could remain a significant value going forward. Spotrac only expects the stud offensive lineman to earn just $11 million per year on his next deal. A fantastic bargain if he can stay healthy after missing 25 games thus far. And, the Jets, they got a lot of contract extensions coming. Now, maybe by the time you guys see this video, Sauce and Garrett are already extended, but you got those two coming down the line, both probably going to make $30+ million per year. And then you got a guy like Vera-Tucker expecting to get paid. And you also got guys on defense, when their contracts are done, they're going to get expected to get paid. So a lot of big deals could be heading our way as Jets fans here. But Vera-Tucker's a guy, I think you almost have to pay him. He was a first-round pick. You're not just going to let him walk out the door. So I got no problems paying him. Honestly, I think $11 million would be an absolute steal for him. But, again, the biggest question mark is the rookie. But I also think he's got the most potential out of any of these guys. He could really be that workhorse, solid right tackle, and he could just hold down that right side of the offensive line for many years to come, that being Armand Membou. I was very high on him during the draft. We were debating on the channel, is it going to be Membou, is it going to be Tyler Warren? But I am happy that they decided to go with Membou. And now you're just looking at this Jets offensive line as a whole. Again, I think PFF nailed it. It comes down to Fashanu and Membou. I think the interior, they'll be solid. I mean, two guards ranking in the top 16. Top 10 center, like, you should be able to get solid production out of those guys if they can stay healthy, which they were fairly healthy this past season. And again, if Fashanu and Membou, if they pop, this will be a top 5 unit in the NFL. And offensive linemen, I felt like over the last decade, honestly, in the league, they've kind of gotten beyond the 8 ball compared to defensive linemen, where I think it was like 2 seasons ago. We really saw defensive tackles just working offensive guards across the league. Even some of the best guards in the league would be beaten out by like middle of the pack defensive tackles. So having a solid 5-man offensive line with really no weak spots, don't take that for granted, because not many teams have that. A lot of teams, like, even if you have a good offensive line, where PFF had the Bears at 4, they still have a shaky position at the left tackle. Like, looking at the Jets, just comes down to these guys developing. I think that's a great spot to be in. So very excited to watch this offensive line play. And if you guys just love the Jets offensive line, give me a me down below in the comments section. These big fellas don't get enough love. So show them some love down below in the comments section. And also hit that subscribe button if you guys have not already. It really does help us grow this channel here. And we'll see you guys next time. As always, go Jets.